Hello and welcome to lecture 13B of our comprehensive course on data science, machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now, we were doing this discussion, GUI building, and so far we had done only very little discussion in one lecture, but I showed you two demos in previous lecture of two apps that I have built to make you understand why GUI building is required. One was a Streamlit app and another is a Gradio app. In one sentence, why GUI building is required by a data scientist, though many do not consider that is a part of job for a data scientist. The reason why it is required is because in one sentence you can say that to showcase your work to others locally or through internet in any part of world. Okay. And we talked about being a full stack data scientist. It really offers very big career boost compared to someone who cannot do end to end all the work which are associated with data science life cycle. So one thing why it is required. Second thing is what are the libraries. So the libraries are this, that is named here, tkinter and kd and pyqt and many. Let us see in brief about each of them. First, about tkinter. Tkinter is the standard GUI toolkit. Its advantage is that it is very fast and very simple way to create GUI. So it is excellent starting point for someone who is just beginning to learn Python. One another advantage is it is lightweight. So the application which you build using tkinter, it will be less than 1 MB or something like that in size and integrated with Python. So it will not conflict with any other Python library. Mostly it uses native elements of the operating system only, and therefore that is the reason why it is lightweight and it provides a simple method. One drawback of tkinter, however, is that the GUI which you will see are very bland. For example, this kind of GUI will be generated. No fancy colors, no borders, nothing. Okay, so very bland. If you want something fancier with more functionality, then you can use WX Python. It is also open source. Its big advantage is it is cross-platform. So you can develop application for any of these operating systems or even Solaris or other applications. So that is one big advantage, cross-platform. And second big advantage is performance. Since it is C++ library WX widgets based, therefore it is extremely fast. When execution occurs, then it is very fast. Moreover, there are advanced GUI components which are available, sliders and drop-down menus and text box and input box and combo box and so many other GUI elements are there. Then this PyQt and PySide. Now both these libraries provide binding to the Qt application framework, and therefore these two are very favorite of Python developers. What is Qt application framework? It is a powerful and widely used framework for creating both desktop and mobile applications. So that is why it is favorite of developer, because the developer would like to learn only one tool which can do everything, whether he wants to go for desktop application or mobile application. Second thing is that they are highly integrated with this Qt application framework, and therefore they provide almost all not almost, but all functionality. In fact, this PySide is created by the same company which has created this framework, Qt company, and PySide is created by that. While PyQt is created by Riverbank company, different company, but it is also very tightly integrated with this application framework. These two libraries allow all the comprehensive features of PyQt, Qt application framework, and you can include networking, graphics, animations, database management, many things. For example, if you are building user sign up form for your website, then the user enters various details like his name, then his nationality, first name, last name, nationality, email ID, password, confirm password, and clicks sign me up. Then all those details are immediately saved in a database which is attached with the application. So you don't have to keep a person for saving your users' data in a database. Okay. Then KDE, this is favorite for mobile application development. Now it is simple, just like tkinter, but compared to tkinter, it provides many innovative features. Then it also has multi-touch application developing features, and it is also fully open source library. It is cross-platform, and therefore you can use it to build a mobile app for Android or for iOS, both development. Okay. It can support gestures and multi-touch operations. Dear PyGUI is relatively new library, as I am writing this in 2024 November. At that time, this is relatively new and it is very simple, but it is very powerful, and you can create GUI with high performance. Its another advantage is that it is compatible with most Python libraries, almost like natively integrated with Python libraries. So it will not conflict with other libraries. Otherwise, sometimes compatibility issue arises, and you have to either uninstall this or uninstall the other library with which it conflicts. But PyGui usually does not conflict. Okay. Then the question is, fine, there are many libraries shown in this diagram. Not only this many, but I have already told you earlier that there are libraries for uh, uh, like Radio, Streamlit, etc. They are also there. Okay, so many libraries are there. The question is which one to use. Okay, so then that depends upon which one to use. That depends upon many factors. These are some factors. What are the requirements of your applications? So first you have to decide what kind of UI you need. Whether it is a simple UI with static elements, or whether you need graphics, animations, multi-touch capabilities, database management, network management capabilities. Second, for which platform are you building your app? It is only for Windows, or is it only for Mac, or you want something which can build an app which is capable of running cross-platform. Then, for example, for cross-platform, PyQt and WX Python, they are excellent. Then how much time do you have for training? Because suppose you have assigned the job of developing the UI to a new intern, then how much is the learning curve? If learning curve is very steep, that intern will take a lot of time to learn about various features of the library, and then only you will get a functional UI. But if certain libraries are very simple to learn, and within just 2 3 days, person can grasp all the features. For example, Tkinter, Kiwi, they are very easy. Learning curve is very not very steep. Whereas PyQt and WX Python, their learning curve is steep. So, of course, they have more functionality also, but you have to consider how much time you have available for learning. Then, community and documentation. This is required for every open source tool which you are using, because when you are stuck, you have to go to the documentation of that library and find how the bug can be resolved. Now, certain libraries have very extensive documentation. PyQt, because it is very popularly used nowadays, and Tkinter, because it is one of the oldest, so its documentation is very extensive. Community support. If you want to ask some question and get answer free of cost as a goodwill gesture, many communities are having helpful experienced programmers. So vibrant community with large number of programmers, that should be preferred. And the most important thing, license. Are you developing your app for commercial purpose, or you are just developing for educational purpose or non-profit purpose? Because say for example PyQt, it is available under GPL license, but GPL is a commercial license. So if you want to sell your app or make money from it, then you have to pay PyQt, that is makers of this library, some fees for that. Usually all library providers give community version and pro version. So pro version is required if you want commercial usage. But on the other hand, there is PySide library. Its license is LGPL, and LGPL license means it is even free for commercial applications. So if I want to sell my app and make money from it, and at the same time I don't want to pay to any other company, then I should prefer PySide compared to PyQt. So licensing terms are also important factor. Now getting started with GUI development. First I told you what libraries are available to you, that you have decided. Then we did about each library, what are pros and cons of each library. Then how to choose the correct out of all so many choices. Now the question is, okay, you have chosen your library, but now I want to build a GUI. Then what are the steps? Whichever library you use, the certain steps are common. And I will explain it with this Jupyter user interface only as an example. So every GUI application must have some window or a container in which other elements are housed. So starts with creating the main window, and that main window serves as a container for other GUI elements. For example, here this is the main window, where my cursor is moving. Fine. That once the container is created, inside widgets should be created. Widgets means buttons, then drop down menus, text boxes, etc. For example, here this is a button which creates a cell above my current cell, and this button, if I press it, then it immediately deletes that extra cell which was created. This is a button which executes my cell. This is a drop down menu which has 3 entries. This is a hyperlink notebook, so it will open in another tab in the browser, and so on. So these widgets must be provided. Okay, it can be buttons, text box, labels, sliders. This is scroll bar, for example. This will help me scroll up and down. So that is also kind of slider only. Then event handling. This is the most important feature for building GUI. Because every GUI, when GUI comes into existence, an event loop starts. And that event loop means that your GUI continuously goes on waiting for something to happen. Something to happen means when I click this or any other widget, that is called an event is triggered. And as soon as an event is triggered, some response must be created, some result must be generated. So your GUI must be listening to the event, trigger, whenever event is triggered, it must generate appropriate response. For example, in this Jupyter, here this arrow button is there, and it shows that run this cell and advance further. So if I press that button, a button press event is created, and this UI is continuously listening for events. So as soon as I press it, as soon as that event is triggered, immediately something will happen. Let us see what happens. You can see that the appearance of the cell has changed. So this is the most important ability of any GUI, that it should be able to listen to events and it should be able to generate appropriate response whenever event is triggered. Okay. Layout management. For example, in Jupyter, if I am here in the lowermost cell, where import tk enter is equal to tk, that is written here. Okay. And I want to execute that cell, then I have to go all the way up and run this. So many people do not like that layout. Many people say that these buttons should be available with every cell. So some add-ons are provided which creates a kind of floating toolbar. So here also these buttons will be there, these buttons. Similarly, in next cell also these buttons will be there. In this cell also these buttons will be there. So if I am in the lowermost cell, then I don't have to move all the way up. I can press that button here only. That is a big ergonomic advantage. So that is called layout management. Layout should be user-friendly, ergonomic, and it should be attractive at the same time. And finally, running the application. So that is what I said, that when you run application, GUI creates an event loop where it starts listening for any events which are occurring, a button press or an entry in a text box or any other event, and generates appropriate response, or that means it takes the control to appropriate code. Okay, so this much is what happens in any GUI, whether I use tkinter or whether I use Kiwi or PyQt, but these features must be provided by your GUI creation library. Okay, so we will next lecture we will see about tkinter and how it creates user interface. Thank you.